Hello, my name is Sofia, and this is another version of my blog entry entitled Walkthrough Hacktoria Geolocation 10. Note, the Hacktoria website no longer has geolocation challenges, therefore all the links have been removed. This blog entry is for legacy purposes only. Feel free to give it a go by attempting to geolocate the image before reading the walkthrough. In this article, I'll explain how to solve Hacktoria's Geolocation 10 challenge. However, I must give a quick disclaimer first. I already knew the answer to this challenge because I'm the one who took the photo and submitted the question. So, Geolocation 10, and this is the picture. The question was, what phone number would you call to be able to take this photo, with not including the country prefix in your answer? So first, let's just analyze the question. There is a phone number that must be called in order to obtain access to where this photo was taken. So I'm thinking restaurant, concert venue, hotel, Airbnb, museum, something that requires a booking. Now onto the photo. We can tell whoever took this photo, me, was on the first floor based on the view. We can also quickly compare the height with the balcony across the street. So this is the balcony and this is where I was standing. So a quick glance at the architecture in the distance tells us that all the buildings have 4 floors plus the ground floor at the most. This seems to already be indicating an old European city center. The street too narrow for traffic, only pedestrians seem to be using it, thus corroborating this theory. So pedestrians, 4 floors plus ground floor. The architecture style tells me it's probably a southern European country, perhaps Portugal, Spain, Italy. If we do a quick reverse search using Yandex, Bing, and Google, we'll get a mess of results. However, Google's results seem to be focusing on the countries I had already suspected due to the building style with a focus on Spain, followed by France, and a lonely England result. Somewhere. We can now start zooming all over the image and see if we can pinpoint anything useful for further analysis. So we save the image and we zoom it, and some interesting stuff there. Interesting, and so on. What immediately grabs my attention is what it looks like a flag on a balcony across the street. The problem with flags in non-official buildings is that anyone could have put it there. I had a neighbor with a Jolly Roger flag in his back garden, and you don't see me assuming they're a pirate. But they could be there. They could just be. The flag is also on the floor and not hoisted anywhere, so at this point it could just be a fancy towel, but based on the colors and the Google results, there's a very good reason to suspect this is the Spanish flag. Now that we have narrowed it down to Spain, and we can narrow it even more and exclude all of the Catalonia region. Although they're technically Spanish, they are in general not too happy to be part of it, and having a Spanish flag around would more likely than not be a bad idea. So let's take a look at something else. We can spot a bit further on a sign for something. I'll show you, where was it? There you go, that one. At this point, it's hard for me to figure out what it would look like if I didn't already know what it says. I can safely assume that you will be able to tell it says cafe, jazz, but would struggle with the words underneath, so let's just run with it. If we do a reverse search using the usual suspects, we get very little results. Yandex does a better job at trying to present relevant options, and even if you add cafe jazz to the search, you'll not find the cafe sign we're looking for. So this will be useful when we have found a place so we can confirm it's the right location, but for now, let's look at something else. Focusing on the ground, we can spot some text. We can also zoom in enough to tell that it looks like a Latin language. The last sentence seems to say, Discurso de ingreso something, la Real Academia Española Rosé Eche something. Right, so if we just start with another reverse search on this cropped image there, we do not get any useful results, but if we do add the word street, there you go, to the Yandex search, we start getting something interesting. All the first results seem to be very similar to our target one, and then on the 4th row, we suddenly spot ours. Look at that, it's there. clicking on it, we can read it better. So we click that, we get this. The last line indeed says Discurso de ingreso en la Real Academia Española, Rosé e Chegaré. That's my brilliant Spanish. The link on the top right, that one there, just leads to some random quotes website, which is useless, but now we know the actual sentence, we can just Google it. So if we put entire thing, Discurso de ingreso en la Real Academia Española, street art, on Google image search, we get 3 results of what we're looking for. I'll do, these 2 are the same, so I don't think it counts. The first result is already telling us that its location is Madrid. So let's click on it and see where it leads us. The website seems to be a blog that's written in Italian, so this is where my Google Translate Chromium add-on comes in hand. Press a button, translate the entire page for me to English. A quick scroll down the article about Madrid leads me to a photo of our quote with some information. And look at that, Barrios de las Letras. So it's neighborhoods of the letters, or letters neighborhoods. The author seems to be telling us that this street art is found in Barrio de las Letras in Madrid. So let's Google that. The neighborhood, according to the map on the right, this one is relatively small. Look at that, it's pretty small actually. So we could just go on Street View, check it out, but let's just see if we can find an easier way first. We can start by clicking the first link and see if we get at least a street name. And there you go, another confirmation we're in the right place with a wider picture below. We can also spot what could be our mysterious jazz cafe. Look at that, remember that one? Similar to that, isn't it? So unfortunately, website does not tell us the name of the actual street, but that's okay. We can just open Google Maps, focus on Barrio de las Letras in Madrid, and have a quick glance. Maybe we can try searching for Café Jazz within the Barrio de las Letras, my Spanish, and see if we can find it. So it's like, oh look, all the results. None of it is the one we're looking for. So if we check all the cafe results within the area, you'll quickly find out that our Café Jazz does not exist. I already knew that because I chose this picture exactly for this reason. I'm sorry. So let's go back to Google and ask our question like a 10-year-old with limited knowledge of search engines. Wrote, where is the quote of Rosé e Chegaré in Madrid? There you go. First result, link to a stock image on Shutterstock. With a bit of luck, the photographer would have written in the description the name of the street. So let's just check it out. Look at that, the photo of a speech of Rosé e Chegaré in the pavement of Huertas Street. Brilliant. And there it was, Huertas Street. Now we can finally use Google Street View, if you haven't already, and check it out a bit. The street itself seems to be quite long, and I'll show you. So, there you go. The street Calle de las Huertas it's quite long. And it keeps going. So it's pretty long. So we already know that our mysterious Café Jazz is gone, but looking at the challenge picture, we can also spot a restaurant on the bottom left. So let's pick it up a picture again. That was the Café Jazz, and this says restaurant. There's definitely restaurant there. Maybe that one still exists, or maybe I was extremely cruel and chose a picture with 2 businesses that I have already closed down. Who knows? I know, I did it. According to Google Maps, there is at least 11 restaurants in Huerta Street in the Barrio de las Letras. Look at that, so many. Why do you need so many? Not helpful. Fine. Let's just stop being lazy and use Google Street View and just walk around the street like peasants until we spot something familiar. It's actually fairly simple to find the correct place, and then our quote from Rosé e Chegaré on the floor. So I can actually just show you. So we have here Calle de las Huertas, and if we just put it there, that way, because I think it's more or less there. See if we don't get lost now. And we are not lost. I know where I am. I know exactly where I am. And look at that. That is the quote we were looking for. and look, what is that? Let me just move it. So you can see this print screen that I took. We can, however, tell that the restaurant on the left is also different and not the same image we had seen on the original Geolocation 10 challenge. The Cafe Jazz is now called Blackbird, like we just saw, and seems to be a rock bar instead. The restaurant is also different, and the one from the photo no longer exists. Sorry again. So let's just see, restaurant gone. It's a different one, but it's no longer the same thing. So how can we confirm if we are actually looking where the previous Cafe Jazz was? For that, we use the very useful option that Google has on Street View to go back in time. It's a little clock symbol on the top left of the Street View that allows us to check out previous Google Street images. So look at that. There you go. You can change 2022, 21, 2018, 16, 15, 14, 13, and so on. So let's just move it. Starting from the most recent image in 2021, let's try to go back in time until we spot our old Cafe Jazz friend. Once we get to 2015, we see our Cafe Populard with the same black and white image we had searched before. Look at that picture. Let me move again, and 15. That's what we want now, Cafe Populard. Just move a bit more and look back and look at that. That is that same one. Okay, so we now can be 100% sure we are in the right place. So time to look for the location where the photo was taken. If we walk just a bit further back the road using the 2015 view, we can spot something interesting, a youth hostel. So in order to answer Hacktoria's question, we need to find out the phone number we would need to call in order to book a room with access to the first floor balcony. I did not want to be too mean, and the number is actually very visible just under the hostel's name on Google Street View. So it's just there. You don't really need to go that far. So we can answer the question at last. What phone number would you call to be able to take this photo without the prefix of the country? So this is the phone number. Please do not call this phone number. I hope you enjoyed this geolocation challenge. I did not want to pick a very hard one or even one that would be far too easy. I hope that this walkthrough was informative and helpful in case you were stuck. If you reached the same conclusion using a different method, feel free to share it, as I would be very, very happy to learn new techniques and or tools. Thank you for listening. Sophia.